Oh, yes, absolutely. My name is Balwinder Singh Gill, Ballwinder. Last name is Gill, Gill.
And how long have you been a taxi driver for?
I've been taxi driving from almost 21 years.
And can you explain to me, do you think this bill is fair that's being put forth before lawmakers today?
This bill is totally unfair because there is number one issue is for public safety. There is not such when we all have no problem. Cab drivers, limo drivers, any other public transportation, we don't have a problem to have a fingerprint done, right? So what Uber and Lyft, they are hiding? Why they are afraid to have their driver fingerprint? What is the problem? This is a very simple thing. We are, all the drivers, we've been doing fingerprints. No problem. This is number one issue for the public safety. So why they are afraid to do the fingerprint? I mean, there is something is hiding back there.
Now, if this bill makes it all the way to the governor's desk and is signed, does this mean that you think, taxi drivers shouldn't be fingerprinted anymore then?
Absolutely. Why we should have to do that? It should be, if they are unregulated, we should be unregulated too. But it's not that is a regulation or not regulation. The problem is unfair with the taxi industry because we've been establishing our business for many years, spend a lot of money, and they end up doing it with nothing. They don't spend nothing, and they are doing the same thing. They should be regulated. This bill should not be passed.
And this, this bill is not really favored so much on the Uber side as well. Does this mean to you that, does it sound like lawmakers really struck a real compromise because neither side is happy?
No, the lawmaker is, they have to come up with the, real public safety. They don't care about any Uber or who is it. Is a rich guy, is forcing, lobbying them, pass this, pass this. They should come up with common sense for public safety. How many incidents happen every day? There is a lot of incidents happen every day. The female get, sexually harassed, and there is a lot of other incident happen, daily basis. And 3 weeks ago, the 6 people got killed while Uber driver was driving. This is also a safety issue for the public. They should keep this in mind. They have to regulate them. They have to come tough on them, like they do in a taxi drivers. So we have no problem. They do our fingerprint. They do whatever they need to do for public safety. We are able to do it. No problem.
How long have you been a taxi driver, and how is this affecting you personally?
Oh, it's affecting a lot. I've been driving taxi from 21 years, and we almost lost a 70% business. I'm waiting for a long time on the stand. The problem is is like private cars. They should be. First of all, they should not be allowed on the road, because they don't have a commercial insurance. The passenger is not covered. They pretend they have a $1 million insurance. That's fake. I have so many evidence like people they are not covered by driver insurance, and Uber is get away with it. They said, "Oh, we are not responsible. Driver is our partner. You talk to the driver." So they pretend. Whole thing is a Ponzi scheme. They're making their money without spending any penny. So they should be regulated.
Is there anything that I didn't ask that you'd like to add? Any thoughts that you have?
There is only thing is that the state lawmaker, they have to be fair with the public safety, with the taxi industry. So that's all we are looking for. If there is fair competition, we don't mind. They have to have a livery plate, commercial insurance, fingerprint done. We don't care. They can, there is many other livery companies working before, so we don't have a problem with them because they are following the law. But they are bypass the law, and the lawmaker, the governor, mayor, they let them do it, go bypass the law.
Obviously, they're going to be voting on this soon. Can you just say and state your name and as well as your title?
My name is Donna Blythe-Shaw. I'm with the Boston Taxi Drivers Association.
And is this bill that's being put forth before the lawmakers right now, is it fair to taxi drivers? And why not?
Well, the bill has really been designed without the interest of the taxi industry there. There is just absolutely nothing in the bill that levels the playing field. When you don't have adequate insurance that equals what the taxi driver has to pay, when you don't have a number, of a regulated meter rate, if you don't have a cap on the number of vehicles that are going to be on the street, right now it's an 8-to-1 ratio. When you want to allow Uber or any other cab industry into their airport, which is their jurisdiction, when you buy a Boston Medallion, you buy the license to work the streets, the hotels, the convention centers, and the airport. And until such time as that changes, then there's no room in that bill for any other operation to get into the airport. So we have a significant difference with what has been proposed and what we want. And more importantly, if the cab industry is requiring fingerprinting, then Uber should require fingerprinting. And then the other piece of this is, if it's going to be about regulations and there's no interest in regulating Uber, then you need to deregulate the taxi industry. Because you can't have two industries doing the same thing with two different types of regulations and two different types of fares. Cab drivers can't determine what their fares are going to be, right? They're regulated.
It sounds so. Does this mean that some sort of balance was actually struck with this bill? Because Uber's not entirely happy with every provision that's included here either. So does this kind of mean that there was a balance actually struck by lawmakers?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think Uber's just unhappy about any type of regulation. So, and their position is that they have a right to work the airport. They shouldn't have to go through any kind of requirements. They just really want to do business the way they've been doing business without regulations. And so they're not happy with anything. So
now, would it have been better for lawmakers just to, instead of this bill, that's trying to please both sides, to just put forth a bill that would deregulate the taxi industry?
Well, they never really thought of that, really, because, like I said, this bill was designed by people who don't know the taxi industry, and it has no care. There's nothing in the bill that shows that they know anything about not only the taxi industry, but the people behind the taxi industry. So you've got people who have invested their livelihoods, right? Somewhere around, $600,000-$700,000 in the most recent time, even to $500,000-$600,000. The medallion is not worth the tin that it's printed on now. So what do you do with this? So these people are starving, from trying to meet their payments, pay their bills, keep their homes, feed their families. So no one has taken into consideration what this is really doing to the people behind the wheel. And so that's one of our issues. Should
taxi cab drivers be fingerprinted?
Yes, we have no problem being fingerprinted. And at one time, in the 70s, I think it stopped sometime around the 80s, they were fingerprinted. So this is not new to us. We're saying if you're going to fingerprint us, you need to fingerprint them. If they're not being fingerprinted, why fingerprint us? Because it's the same population, right, that's on the road driving cars.
So should Boston police, if this passes the House and, hypothetically, if it passes Senate, gets all the way to the governor's desk, should the Boston police reverse their policy here with the Hackney division? And
well, I can't speak for the commissioner or the Boston Police Hackney unit, but I would think that they should look at it and say, we're going to continue fingerprinting because it's public safety, right? But, and they should be pushing very hard to make sure that these organizations, these ride-sharing organizations are fingerprinted, because for the most part, school teachers are fingerprinted. Most people who work with the public are fingerprinted. So they, as Commissioner said, they haven't given a good reason. I think one of the reasons is they would have a different, they would run into some labor law problems, right? Because if they are requiring their drivers to be fingerprinted, then that's a condition of employment. And I think they're looking at labor laws that might rule that they are an employer rather than an employee. So there's got to be some really good reason other than what they're saying, because our population of drivers is the very same population of immigrants and people of color. So.
Now, are you? Have you ever driven a cab, or are you a cab driver?
No, I've never driven a cab. No, I don't have a Hackney license yet. Yeah.
Is there anything that I didn't address in any of my questions that you'd like to add?
No, I think you've covered it all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.